What is Racecraft? Why does Racecraft matter? How did Checo Perez go from P20 to P1?
The man who was in last place at the end of lap 1 comes home to win!
How did Nico Hülkenberg go from P19 to P3, scoring his first podium? Hey, Nico! What makes the difference between a good F1 driver and a world champion? It's not just about speed, it's how you use it. This is Racecraft. Racecraft is the art of racing. It's not just about going fast. It's about positioning your car, timing your moves, choosing your battles, and knowing when to go all in, or when to wait. It's braking late.
And down the inside goes Daniel Ricciardo!
Defending smart.
Hamilton's going to try and get Perez into turn 1 and have to go the long way around the outside to do it, and can't quite do it.
In short, it's how you win without having the fastest car. One of the first things you learn in racing is the racing line, the fastest path through a corner. You want a wide entry, clip the inside or apex, and get a clean, fast exit. That's how you carry speed. Sometimes, drivers take an early apex for a shorter path, or a late apex to set up a better exit. Every corner is different, and Racecraft means knowing what line works in every situation. And maybe that sounds very confusing. Maybe that just sounds like a bunch of words. So here's a visual example. Take this, right? You got this curvy path here, right? And a normal road car, as a two-way street, these are how the cars move, right? They hug their respective lanes, right? They stick to the right side, or left side if you're in the UK, or Hong Kong. But now, take the same road and say this is now a racetrack. So we get to ignore traffic rules. So say we're trying to make this corner here. This is the apex, and the apex is the inside corner. And this is the racing line in this instance. You start wide, cut in, and then you go wide for your exit. And the reason why this is such a powerful racing line is because in this line, you get to carry the most speed through the corner. You brake the least and you turn the wheel the least. So your car goes fastest when it's straight. So you want to keep the car as straight as possible, even when you're turning. All right, let's talk braking. There's straight line braking, where you slow down before the corner. And there's trail braking, where you keep braking as you turn in, helping the car rotate. It's risky, but fast if you get it right. Miss your braking point or lock up,
Hamilton takes it away, but he locks up, and he's lost it!
and you're vulnerable. Nail it, and you're in control. And sometimes in racing, the racing line isn't always the best line, right? Because you gotta overtake. And let's talk about the art of overtaking. You don't just dive in, and pray to God that it sticks. You apply pressure. You bait the other driver ahead to make a mistake, or force them to defend and ruin their exit.
Leclerc has that inside line. Through goes Hamilton. Unbelievable stuff.
Do you go down the inside or try the long way around? Every pass is a calculated risk. It's about commitment and timing. It's not just cars going around in a circle, all right? If it's just cars going around in a circle, how do they pass each other? Defending is just as important as attacking. You're allowed one move to block, so you pick a line, inside or outside, and stick to it. Because you don't want to get a black flag. You're not allowed to weave around, all right? Because that's not fair racing. That's just an accident waiting to happen. So these other drivers have to respect each other on the road. And that's why you should only race on circuits. And there's a reason why these 22 drivers next year, are the top Formula drivers in the world, Sometimes you brake early to mess up the other car's rhythm. Other times you give up one corner to defend the next. Good defending frustrates the attacker behind and forces mistakes. All right, so something a lot of beginners don't know about F1 and what makes F1 so special is distinctly different from other categories of racing. You may think all the cars on the grid look alike, but you could not be more wrong. Each car is very different from the other car. In F1, not all cars are created equal. Each team builds their own car, and that means difference in speed, grip, cornering, and reliability. It's a difference in how they design the aerodynamics, the shape of the nose, shape of the rear wing, what the front wing looks like, different elements on the front wing, the curvature of the side pods, and how air flows around the car. And a lot of money is spent developing the car in a wind tunnel, all right, to see how air moves, you know? But the problem with the air tunnel is that when you're racing, you're often not racing in clean air, all right? When there are other cars around, the movement of air is being pushed and pulled, you know, by other cars. You know, we have to factor what the other cars are doing on the track and how their aerodynamics are messing with the air around you, right? This is what clean air looks like. And this is what dirty air looks like coming from the car in front of you. And that's why it could be so hard to overtake sometimes. And that's why they have DRS, the drag reduction system, like we talked about in the last video. If you haven't watched part 1, please watch that first so you know the basics of Formula 1, then come back to this video. Alright, so in Formula 1, not all cars are created equal. Each team builds their own car, and that means a difference in speed, grip, cornering, and reliability. So in Formula 1, you know there are only 4 engine manufacturers, but it's not just the engine that defines how fast the car goes. So you could set up your car differently from one race weekend to another as well, because these cars are being shipped all over the world, right? And each racetrack is different. Sometimes the weather is colder, sometimes it's hotter, sometimes the elevation is higher. It could be a high-speed track with fast corners, or it could be a lower speed track with slower, tight corners like Monaco. So the cars need to be set up differently from weekend to weekend. So teams adjust their cars for each track. A high downforce setup gives you more grip in the corners, but sacrifices speed. Great for twisty tracks like Monaco. Low downforce means less drag, more straight line speed, but the car is harder to control in corners. Better for tracks like Monza or Spa. So drivers adjust their racing style depending on the track. And that's part of Racecraft. Racecraft is also mental. It's about patience, reading your opponent, and playing the long game. It's like a game of chess. Do you fake a move to force an error? Do you wait for DRS? Or do you send it? It's pressure, it's instincts, and knowing when to pick your fight. And a lot of times, you know, you want to finish first, right? But it's not just about finishing first. Here's a little open secret, all right? Your biggest rival in F1 is often your teammate. Why? Because you both drive the same car, designed by the same team. So you gotta prove to the team that you're better at driving the team's car than your teammate, you know? And that could lead to some pretty intense rivalry, like this year's rivalry between Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Some teams have a number 1 and number 2 driver, like Red Bull. Max Verstappen is clearly their number 1 driver. Number 1 is on his car, all right? And Yuki Tsunoda is their second driver, currently. And other teams like McLaren have 2 number 1 drivers. That's why beating your teammate is a huge deal. Teams look at that when deciding contracts. Some of the best rivalries in F1 history are between teammates like Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna, or Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, or Vettel versus Webber. So wrapping up, why Racecraft is everything. You don't need the fastest car to win, but you do need Racecraft. It's braking leg, it's defending smart, it's tire management, setup knowledge, and pure race IQ. F1 is a chess match at 200 miles an hour. Racecraft is what makes F1 so special, and just racing in general. And this is why you catch enthusiasts like us, you know, on Forza Horizon, or Assetto Corsa, iRacing. It's because we're all seeking what it feels like to race a worthy opponent. And don't forget to subscribe if this video helped you make sense of what's going on the screen. I take a lot of effort making these videos. I write, shoot, and edit these by myself. I'm a new channel. I could really use your support. I'm just having a lot of fun making videos in my office. I'm excited to show you guys and build this community. Come on this ride with me. Yeah.